So what's up? This is Nana from Yesi and Nana. I'm going to start doing, the famous video rants. So the first, I don't know how many are gonna be, about me and my life. And then the ones after that will just, be about, you know, everything else, recaps upon the days and, anything exciting that I forget to mention or want to mention, yada, yada, yada. A disclaimer, any of the people that I do talk about, I won't be doing any name drops. I know most of the people who are going to watch these videos aren't going to know who these people are, but, just in case, somebody I know sees it and they probably don't know what the other person's going through. If they know that person as well, they won't, be able to be like, oh, that person. So there's just going to be, titles like aunt, cousin, Poseidon aunt, whatever you want to do. Okay. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with, my earliest couple of memories. Which have to do with preschool. The preschool I went to was, preschool and a daycare. So, I think they're all like that these days. Yeah, probably not. So mine, I don't know the youngest age that can go there, but I do know for sure that I went there from 2 to 5. So that's all about I know. I went to the preschool was in Davis, California. And I lived out there for a good chunk of my life. So the first couple of memories, the earliest one is, since that time I've had this issue with migraines. I get them, for the typical reasons because I didn't get enough sleep or I'm hungry or something. But sometimes they just, come and I have a migraine. My mom said she got it checked out before and there's nothing wrong. So who knows? Maybe later I'll get it checked out again to make sure there's still nothing wrong, just to be sure. So the first one dealing with migraines, was having a migraine. I'm not sure if there was just a few people there that day or my mom was just a little late picking me up from after work from there. I just remember, I was, with one or two other kids and a couple of teachers. And we were in the room for the youngest group of people, which actually, I don't know how old, but it was 0 through 2. So we were in that room, and we were there, it was called the Blue Room, if I remember correctly, and so we were there. I just remember throwing up in the toilet, because when I get really bad migraines, I, throw up. I remember throwing up in the toilet, and then, trying to lay down and all that, and then when my mom finally came to get me, I just, fell asleep on her. So that's, I believe, that they're not in chronological order because I don't remember. Another thing I do remember is, I don't call principal or the person in charge of the whole thing. I don't know if she's the owner or not. But I remember her because she had these weird glasses. And, they were regular glasses, and they have a little lens thing to flip up and down. And they were sunglasses when she flipped them down, and then the other lens, she flipped it up. They were regular glasses. So it was weird, but, before the transition thing came going on. Maybe before I should do a formal introduction, so I'm not dropping my name either. So, before that, I was born March 18th, 1996. I am a Pisces, for people who don't know that or don't want to figure it out. I'm 23 years old, and I'm living my best life. Okay, so back to the story. The next thing I remember is a picture day. We have the picture, but, we don't have the events that follow it. I don't really remember most of the day. I just remember that day was kind of weird. I did get in trouble that day. I forgot for what. I just remember getting in trouble for something. It wasn't that bad of trouble, you know. I just got talked to, and that was that. Yeah, I still don't remember for what. Another memory would be, I don't know how it transpired, but one time for nap time, I don't know what happened, but I ended up kicking a teacher in the face and making her nose bleed. Again, have no clue why, but that transpired. Another thing was, you know, around that age, you're like, you know, you're discovering, well, you know, you already discovered technically your body parts. But, you know, once you get around other little kids, you're like, oh, you have that. I have this. Like, I'll show you yours if you show you mine. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. So one of those instances were happening, and at the preschool that I went to, in the playground, there was like this plastic wooden, like plastic wood cabin. You know, the door could close, like there was an actual door on there, and like they had the shutters for the window. And you know, like little kids, we usually played house in there, but one time, I don't know, I know there was a lot of little boys in there. I don't know if I was the only girl or what, but remember, this was like preschool. Don't remember it very clearly. Nothing too bad happened. The teacher just, you know, one of the teachers busted in, you know, while I was showing my butt. And I remember getting in trouble for that. What else? The only other thing, I remember one Halloween, I think it was either the last Halloween that I had, you know, at the preschool. So I was 4. I got in trouble. Don't know what for. Just so you guys know, I did get in a bit of a trouble when I was little. I got in trouble, again, don't know what for. And I remember being one of the last few kids there, and sitting, you know, on the jungle gym. It had like a bridge. I was sitting on the bridge and just dreading my mom coming to pick me up. And I remember not being able to go trick-or-treating. That was the punishment for that. So I didn't get to go trick-or-treating that Halloween. After that, I remember a lot of my 5th birthday. There are a lot of pictures of it, for people who know. There are quite a few pictures of it, but I remember things, you know, that weren't part of the pictures. Like, you know, there's maybe 1 or 2 photos of, you know, the wake up part of it. So I remember a couple of things from that, you know, running down, it's my 5th birthday, I'm 5 now, you know, I'm excited and all that. It was a Powerpuff Girl themed birthday party. It was really, I mean, for any 5-year-old, it was fun. I had a lot of gifts, a lot of family showed up, we had a piñata. So mentioning a piñata, for, you know, people who, you know, will be curious, I am of mixed descent. I am half black and half Latina. For my Latina side, for the people who do know or who want to figure it out, or, you know, would like to, you know, learn more about the world. My grandmother on my mother's side, which is the Latin side, is from Panama, and my grandfather is from Nicaragua. And they both migrated here legally. They both migrated here when they were in, you know, late elementary age, to come to the United States. And so I am a 2nd generation American on my mom's side. And I don't know how many generations on my dad's side. From what I got, my dad's family is from the South. They migrated over here like a generation or 2. So, I'm a 2nd generation Californian on both sides, supposedly. If I got my facts straight from my dad's side. So, like I said, my dad's family's from the South. I believe Louisiana, because he does claim Creole. I don't bother asking him. I am, well, you know, I want to go back to that. So for my early life, which I don't remember a lot about, but from what my mom tells me, mom and dad did not stay together. They weren't married or anything when they had me. My mom had me at 24, which is young, but not too young, and it wasn't old or anything like that. And my dad was 23. They just had, some issues that they had going on between each other, and they broke up before I turned 1, and then, I don't know, but we ended up moving to Davis. So they haven't been together, and my dad's, been in and out. Now I contact him on my own, and we'll get further into that once I get to that part of my life. So let's see. So 5, I remember 5th birthday and all that. Not the whole thing, of course, but I remember parts of it, and then, I have the photos to supplement what I don't remember. And then 5, almost 6, I remember my mom bringing home some guy for me to meet. And I remember it was in the morning, and I came downstairs, and he said hi, and I said, "Hi, mister." Who are you? Pretty much is the gist of it. So in the end, that turned out to be my stepdad. So from him, we got my brother and sister. My brother was born when I was 6 years old. I took a week off from school for that. Around that time, let's see, but that kind of skips kindergarten, so we're gonna backtrack to kindergarten since he was there for that. So my mom got pregnant around that time, since I was almost 6. She had him when I was in 1st grade. So I met him, at the end of kindergarten. So for kindergarten, that was 2001. There was a lot going on. The earliest thing I remember, I kind of remember the first day a little bit. I just, I remember a couple of things. I had, my friends and all that. There was 3 separate rooms. The room in the middle was like the coolest to everybody because it had like, all the extra stuff. It had, like a kitchen and blocks to build with. It was like, it had a lot. It had like the awesomest things. But it's whatever. So I remember that, and then I remember 9/11. I remember when it was happening. We had a TV in our room, and our teacher put the news on, and had a whole bunch of 5-year-olds watching 9/11. I don't know why she thought that was okay, but it happened, whatever. See what else. I don't remember. It's blurry, nothing, too significant to mention. I had my friends. One's name was Catherine, don't remember her last name. One was Lauren. I believe I met my best friend for, my early elementary days in kindergarten. His name was Jay Gabriel. So so let's see, 9/11, and then, life went on, and then I graduated. We did the chicken dance for our kindergarten graduation, which I find ridiculous now, but, that's what we did for graduation. And from kindergarten to 3rd grade, I went to this after-school program, after-school summer program called CDC. I forgot what it stands for. It's still around today. So I went to CDC at the elementary school I went to. This is all still in Davis. CDC. It was fun. I had morning kindergarten, so I went there after school. I think we took naps. And then, they helped us with any homework. And, since we were there before all the other kids got out of school, we had, extra arts and craft time and stuff like that. And, and then once the other kids came in, we played and all with them and stuff. So then I remember that summer, let's see, it used to be 2 buildings, but then they put into 1. And I remember that summer, it was just weird. My memories are all over the place. I just remember that one summer I had my eyes dilated, I believe, between kindergarten and 1st grade. Um, so then first grade comes around. Nothing too special before. My brother was born November 20th, 2002. So, yeah. I got to meet him. I stayed out of school for a week, which is pretty fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That December, it frosted in California, which doesn't really happen a lot, down in the valley desert areas. So it frosted over. We couldn't go outside for the couple of days. I think it was in the first grade when it flooded. There was really bad rain that rain season, and I guess we were close to like a water source. I forgot exactly what. So I don't think it's correct, but where I was at, supposedly the Sacramento River was close by, or some other water source. Anyway, our water source was close by, and it flooded over into, like the whole field was flooded. It was a really big field too. The whole field was flooded, and parts of the playground was flooded. So we couldn't really do that. I remember on the playground, it was like, the higher playground and the lower playground for the older kids. So it's like, there's that smaller, more, safer jungle gym. And then you have like the black top with like handball, tetherball, like a basketball court or whatever. And like the Foursquare and hopscotch and everything you think of, in elementary school, all those stuff. And then there was a lower playground where it was like bigger, and it had a couple of things like spinny things, a couple of things that you don't really want a younger kid to be on. And it was like first and second couldn't really go on there because they're smaller, and then third you just had to get permission to go over there or whatever. I just remember going over there in third grade. Anyway, so yeah, frosted over. First grade wasn't really that significant to me, I guess not. Another cool fact about the school that I went to for my first school was that it was at a Spanish immersion school. So, you learn in Spanish, and they did teach us some English, like grammar and stuff like that, but it was mostly Spanish. I remember going on to second grade now is that I went to speech therapy, because still to this day I still can't, but I can't pronounce stuff well in English. I've gotten way better at it, of course, speaking in English, throughout my life. But, there's just some words I just can't say. Like, I have to, like, say it really slow for me to get it out properly. But it's so funny because to this day, if I can't remember, like, to just spell people, I have to spell it out. People. Peoples. Then I can people. Yeah, then I can spell it out. If I'm like, wait, how do I spell people? I'm a bad speller, by the way. Second grade, yeah, I wasn't really that significant. Nothing really to remember. I turned 7. When I was 7 though, I do remember I had my birthday party at the park. I had a birthday party at the park. My birthday fluctuates, what I can do for it, since it's in March and it's early spring. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's kind of warm. So that fluctuates. I remember my dad did come to that birthday. I believe he came to my 5th birthday too. I believe there's a picture with him. But he did come to my 7th birthday party. And then, let's see, what else? Yeah, I don't really remember. And so back to, personal life at home. I had, I told you, like, at the time when my brother was born, my stepdad wasn't my stepdad. They weren't married yet. They didn't get married till after that. My sister was born in wedlock. But, my stepdad is kind of an iffy topic. He was unfortunately affiliated, part of the reason why I'm not doing name drops, besides, giving out personal information. He was unfortunately affiliated. And that, because of that, and because of choices he made and choices of the people around him, he was in and out of prison. He was there, but then there's times when he wasn't there. But when he was there, he was a really good dad. I feel very strongly towards me. He felt I was his oldest child, and towards all of his children, which he has a lot. And that's a whole nother story. I can get into that next time. So he was in and out, and then he got out, for a while. When I was, I don't know how old I was, but, he was there for my sister to be born, which was when I was in the 3rd grade, when I was 8. My sister was born August 3rd, 2004. I was 8 years old, and my stepdad was there the whole time. With my mom, which she had a planned C-section, because my brother was an emergency C-section, and they were born 20-something months apart, so they were born too close together, so my sister had to be a C-section, but she came out a strong, healthy 11 pounds and 12 ounces, so that would be for that. I did move around a little bit, just twice, for that part of my life. I lived in a townhouse in Davis. That's what I remember. A townhouse in Davis. I lived there for most of my life. Well, not most of my life, for most of that time period. I do vaguely. There you go, vaguely. Remember living in an apartment that was close to the preschool that I went to, but then we moved to a townhouse, and we lived there for quite a bit, and then we moved out of there because my sister, because it was a 2-bedroom townhouse, I believe, because my mom's god sister lived with us, so I shared a room with my mom's god sister, and then it was my mom, my stepdad, and then my brother in there. But since my sister was being born, they're like, we need a little more space. So we moved to a 3-bedroom house, still in Davis, but it was really close to another town. So we went and we moved there. It was in a cul-de-sac. I remember I was one of the few kids there. I remember I kept on trying to play with kids, but how people are. How parents are sometimes and how other kids are. But we lived there. I went through, my I hate Barbies and I love Bratz phase. And then I didn't like Bratz either, but it was weird. There we had, so it was 3 bedrooms, it was my mom and stepdad and the master with my little sister, and then it was me and my brother in the second biggest room, and then the smallest room was my mom's god sister. We had my brother's first birthday there. So we moved there a little bit before my sister was born, but we had my brother's first birthday there. And a couple of funny things happened. His first Halloween happened there. His first Halloween happened, then his birthday. And then, what else? Funny story. So my brother, he was at the age where he was crawling around and stuff. And so he kept on crawling up the stairs. And my mom would always tell him, don't crawl up the stairs. I'm not going to keep on running up there to get you down. So after, one day, he just kept on doing it. And that's when she, stuck to her word and didn't go get him. So he was at the top of the stairs yelling for somebody to come get him. And my mom was like, no, nobody go get him. So then he wants to, try and come down the stairs. And he ends up falling. And it looks like he's doing cartwheels down the stairs. And he gets on the landing. He bumps into the door. There's a closet door right there. He bumps into that and lands on the landing. And then he's like in shock for a second that happened. And then he's like, just starts bawling, and then my mom gets up laughing. It's like, oh, my baby, my baby. I told you not to do that. Laughing at him. So my mom is old school. So all those, funny, videos that people make about, how, their Latin moms, react, and how, they cuss them out and whoop them and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, I got all of that. It's just mine was in English. My mom was raised Latina, very strong Latina values, so she raised us that way also. And as I mentioned before, I didn't really, talk to my dad in my early life, so I was raised by my Latin side of the family. So whenever people are like, what's your race, and I have to put black since that's on my birth certificate, but when they ask ethnicity, I'm like, I'm Latina. I was raised by Latin people. I have Latin values. I'd rather eat a bowl of rice than some grits and chitlins or whatever else you eat with grits. But anyway, oh, I want a potato taco, dude. Potato taco be bomb. Anyway, so let's see. Yeah, we moved to that house. The funny story with my brother falling down the stairs. A lot of things happen. My stepdad is a very passionate, well, they're divorced now, but I always view him as my stepdad. He's a very passionate man. And it was funny because one time my dad called late at night, mind you, when I was sleeping, to ask my mom, how I was, and, my stepdad picked up the phone, and he just got neck surgery, mind you, and he picked up the phone, and he's all like, who's this, like, getting all mad, and him and my mom ended up getting in an argument, which woke me up, and I see my stepdad trying to, like, because my mom won't let him go anywhere. He's trying to, like, jump out the window or something. And the house was only 2 stories. But he was, like, trying to, like, jump out the window or something. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so I had to, like, get my little sister because, she woke up from all the yelling and bring her into my room. And so it was me, my brother, and sister. And my mom's stepsister, in the room, waiting for everything to calm down. It was ridiculous. They're very passionate. It was a very passionate relationship. My mom was good to keep all that away from us. We just saw a lot of the aftermath, because either the house or, one of them had a scratch or something. They're ridiculous. So yeah, that was that house. We lived there, for quite a while. We moved out of Davis at the end of my at the end of 3rd grade. So after our 3rd grade was over, and we moved to a town called Woodland, which is, a town over or 2, I guess. I went to 4th grade there. We lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. It was nice. For most of the time that we were there, I think my stepdad was in prison. I just remember the setup. The master bedroom was all the way in the back, so the biggest room. The 2 biggest rooms were all the way in the back, and my mom was with my sister in one room, me and my brother in the next room, and then my mom's god sister was in the smallest room because it was just her. So it was 4th grade there. We have a lot of pictures there. My mom had a friend that lived down the street, so we spent some time with her, and her kids and her dude or husband. I don't know if I remember they eventually got married, but I don't know, it's when we were living there. But yeah, so 4th grade happened there. People started talking, little kids. Yeah. Actually, no, that was 3rd grade. I'm all messed up. So it's K through 2nd, I believe, at the first school, and then 3rd grade in Woodland, and then, no, I'm so confused. Yeah, it's all messed up. All messed up. No, 3rd grade in Woodland. I don't know if it was split or just there. Yeah, no, see, I told you my memory is all messed up. But anyway, when we were in Woodland, I remember I had a babysitter that lived in the apartment complex. And I think it was me and her kids and, like, one other kid. And they introduced me to video gaming, like for real video gaming. So this video is now 30 minutes. I'm going to be ending it. This is going to be the usual. I'm usually going to do, little to no editing. Editing would be if it's a good video and, there's something I just want to get out of there and whatnot. So see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy. Deuces. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And comment if you want. Please, no negative comments, though. Thank you. Deuces.